Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. The Saints, quickly after the season, made the decision to shake some things up on the offensive side of the ball. And obviously parted ways with Pete Carmichael after 17 years in the organization and made a couple of other quote-unquote minor changes. But they did leave a couple of guys in place on the offensive side of the ball. Doug Marrone was left on the offensive line, and Ronald Curry was left as the quarterback's coach. And Curry, by reports, did interview for the offensive coordinator job. We know now that Clint Kubiak will be announced as the offensive coordinator following the Super Bowl, and he'll come in. And with that announcement, we learned that Doug Marrone will not be with the Saints moving forward. And I think we had talked about that kind of at length, just saying, look, this is a group where the Saints have invested a lot, and the performance level has been unacceptable for the amount of investment that the Saints have put into it. So I wasn't surprised at all to see Doug Marrone moved out once Clint Kubiak got the job, and you'll understand that he'll start to fill his staff with some people that he's familiar with and comfortable working with. We did not know what the situation would be with Ronald Curry, and now we do. The Saints have moved on from Ronald Curry, and in fact, he has already landed a job in Buffalo with the Bills. He's going to be working with the quarterbacks there. Look, I'm not going to sit here and suggest that I have a full grasp on Ronald Curry's role with the New Orleans Saints. I can tell you he's been there since 2016. He was an offensive assistant. He then worked with the wide receivers in 2018 through 2020. He became the quarterback's coach in 2021. He got the passing game coordinator label last year. So he's worked his way up undoubtedly, and the Saints valued him undoubtedly. That's why you continue to promote folks, get them pay raises, and get them more involved. He's a guy that Sean Payton brought in, and once Pete Carmichael was handed the keys, they elevated him. So the Saints have felt really good about Ronald Curry's role. He's called some plays in the preseason and was considered to be the offensive coordinator once that job came open. Even though I don't know exactly what Ronald Curry's role is or how good a coach he is or what the players have to say about him or any of those things, I do feel like it's best that the Saints go outside the organization, and they have with Clint Kubiak. I think the Saints have gotten stuck in the mud a little bit by continuing to elevate people internally, because the results do not suggest that continuing down this path is a good thing. You're a 500 football program. You need to elevate from that. How do you get from 7 wins or 8 wins to 11 wins? I don't think it's from just keeping all the same people together and just hoping that the next year is great. So I think it's very good that the Saints moved on and got Clint Kubiak. I would have criticized the move to elevate Ronald Curry. And that's maybe unfair because of my lack of understanding for exactly what his role is in the Saints offense. But I tend to think that once Sean Payton and Drew Brees moved on, keeping everybody else around and expecting that result is unrealistic. It's obvious that Ronald Curry is very respected because within 24 hours of moving on from the Saints, he already had a job with one of the better organizations running in the NFL right now, and that's Buffalo. But Clint Kubiak getting his guys in there and running his system with his people feels like the best way to go. It doesn't guarantee success. It does not guarantee you that you're going to look like the 49ers on offense because you got their passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach to come in and handle your offense. But I think your odds of elevating your franchise and your offense to a level that competes for the division, wins the division, and makes some noise in the playoffs is best by adding people from the outside. Ronald Curry was a heck of a player at North Carolina. He was drafted in the 7th round, hung around in the NFL for 7 years, then was an offensive assistant with San Francisco, and he was with the Saints offense for 8 years. But I just think the best thing for the Saints to do is to move on from Doug Marrone, certainly, and from Ronald Curry. And that's what they're going to do. And we'll see who Clint Kubiak wants to hire. Is Brian Greasy somebody he'd like to bring and elevate his title? I don't know. He's worked at a few different organizations. He may have some folks in mind. But there's something in me that says, hey, the best thing for the Saints to do is to get a whole new gang in here to spice something up. I'm not suggesting the defense is perfect, but the defense has outperformed the offense for the most part, and Dennis Allen's running that show. So as long as you've got him as the head coach, your defense is going to be run a certain way with certain people. The offense is where things can get a little more creative, and it just feels to me like moving on from Pete Carmichael, moving on from Doug Marrone, and even in this case, moving on from Ronald Curry is a good thing for the Saints. We won't find out who Clint Kubiak wants on his staff probably for another week and a half. I mean, they've got a pretty big game to get ready for on Sunday that they've got to deal with. And then the dust settles there. And it's not like college where you got to get there and you got to get to recruiting, get that staff filled out and go. Like, you've got time to make this happen. So in the same way that the Saints had time to get their pick at offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, not Clint Kubiak, has time to surround himself with people that he's comfortable with. I don't know how much input he wants, if any, from Derek Carr. I don't know how much input Dennis Allen gets. But you figure if you're selling a guy on a chance to come and be the head guy on the offense, that he's going to have the most say on who works with him. And I don't know if he decided Ronald Curry wasn't the right fit or if that was a Dennis Allen decision, or if Ronald Curry thought he had gone as high as he was going to go in the Saints organization and wanted to try something new. Those details are unclear at this point. But I think it's positive. I didn't have a lot to say positive about the Saints after Halloween. I really didn't. And I still don't think that there's some sort of renaissance coming. But when I criticize the way that I have, the way that they've operated, and they do something different, objectively, like, I have to sit there and go, okay, you got to give them credit for that. And it's a good sign to me that the Saints have finally relinquished the pieces that were the Breeze Payton Saints. Stop clinging to that. It's dead. Get some fresh blood in there. And that's what they've done. I think it's a promotion of Ronald Curry just smacks of same old Saints trying to do the same old thing without the same old people. This is new. This is fresh. This is a restart. And I think it gives the Saints the best chance moving forward. So we'll see over the next week and a half who Clint Kubiak brings with him, and we'll certainly react to that here. But the news of the day is that Ronald Curry, who's been a part of the Saints organization since the 2016 season, is moving on. He will be in Buffalo. Clint Kubiak now has a couple of places on his offensive staff that he's got to work on, offensive line and quarterback being the main two. We know that Kubiak's worked with quarterbacks in his career, probably knows a lot of people in that same line of work. I would think that he could get some hires done fairly quickly once the dust settles out there in Las Vegas. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.